Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Goodwin is absent. Mr. President.
Here.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a seat? For the remarks today, I wanted to show a little bit of love to our planning department. It's been about 30 years since Omaha developed a vision for its future with the Omaha Master Plan. Our city is growing and it faces challenges and opportunities a lot different than it did back in the 1990s. It's time for a new comprehensive plan. Our planning department wants to hear your voice. You can help guide the future of our city's growth and development by taking a short 12-minute survey. In the survey, you'll be asked about your experience living in Omaha, your preferences for future development of our city, and your support for different types of growth. You can find the survey online at wemakeomaha.gov. A comp plan is a city's vision for the next 20 years. It outlines a city's preferred direction and where we grow. In order to make good decisions about Omaha's future that reflects who we are as a community, we need a new comprehensive plan, and we need your participation. WeMakeOmaha.gov.
Before we begin, we got a couple proclamations today. The first one is by Councilmember Pete Festerson, and the second one is by Councilmember Brinker Harding.
Thanks, Mr. President. I have just two things I want to note today. First of all, if you're a Winter Olympics fan like I am, you're sad to see that event end. It's been tremendous over the last couple of weeks and ended in a very exciting fashion with both the women's and men's hockey teams winning gold in overtime. The one Omaha connection I wanted to note in that respect is you may not know that on the men's hockey team, Jake Gunsel was a participant who's an Omaha native, went to UNO, played UNO hockey, and now plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So he's now a gold medalist, and we're very proud of that with him being from Omaha. The second thing I want to note that we're also very proud of, and also includes athletic prowess, is my friend Taryn Smith. If she wants to come down to the podium, please. As you may have seen in the Omaha World Herald recently, there was a story about Taryn's adventure being the first woman in history to complete what's called the toughest row across the Atlantic Ocean from the Canary Islands to Antigua. 3,000-mile journey, took her 46 days, solo venture for 46 days on the ocean, and finished with a great placement, and also, in the meantime, raised money for a local charity. So we wanted to honor her today, and I'll read the following proclamation. Whereas the community of Omaha takes immense pride in the extraordinary courage, resilience, and athletic prowess of Taryn Smith, a graduate of Miller South High and Nebraska Wesleyan University. And whereas Taryn has secured her place in maritime history by becoming the first American woman to successfully complete a solo journey in what's called the world's toughest row, a formidable and grueling 3,000-mile journey across the Atlantic Ocean. And whereas Taryn departed from Spain on December 12th, 2025, and arrived in Antigua on January 27th, 2026, she braved the elements for 46 days, paddling 10 to 12 miles a day while navigating wind, rain, and tough seas with a spirit of patience and determination. And whereas beyond her physical feat, Taryn utilized her international platform to champion the next generation of leaders, raising nearly $37,000 for Girls on the Run Nebraska, the largest single contribution to this organization's 23-year history. And whereas her journey serves to highlight the values of discipline and resilience she cultivated at the Mary Lorraine Dance Center, proving to young women that they possess the strength to achieve any goal they set their sights upon. And whereas by viewing the vast challenges of the ocean as lessons in life, learning to slow down, wait for the storm to pass, and embrace the art of patience, Taryn serves as an inspiration for Nebraskans of all ages. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of Omaha officially commends Taryn Smith for her historic achievement and her heart for service. And we look forward to seeing her next challenge, whatever that may be. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for this honor. It really means the world. A lot of people have expressed surprise that a woman from Omaha, Nebraska, a notoriously landlocked place, decided to row across the Atlantic Ocean by herself. But to me, it's not a surprise at all. Omaha is a place of creativity and innovation, and my row is really a product of my community. It was brought to life by friends and family and neighbors. We are meant to go out in the world and do big things, and I just feel so grateful to be from a place that supports that. So thank you very much.
Spoken like a pro.
You're very proud of where you're from, but we're very proud of you. So thanks for doing that and putting Omaha again on the map. But I'm just amazed, and thank you for providing all that hope to other young females in our community. I mean, what a great thing. You did something like that, but then it was also for charity and to help other young women see that they can basically accomplish anything they want to do. So my heart goes out to you, and thank you.
Before I start, I also wanted to know that in addition to Jake Gunsel, that Jack Hughes, who scored the golden goal, played, I'm told, for the Lancers for a bit too. So we have a couple of Omaha connections on the U.S. hockey team. Last week, we lost a true Omaha leader in Mike Yanni. And I have a proclamation to read for Mike Yanni. And Lisa Yanni couldn't be here today, but I will make sure that she gets the proclamation. Whereas Michael B. Yanni was born on December 3rd, 1933, the youngest of 9 children of Lebanese immigrants in Kearney, Nebraska, Mike rose from humble beginnings to become a titan of international business and a cornerstone of civic life. And whereas Mike shared 65 years of loving marriage and a lifetime of shared purpose with his wife, Dr. Gail Walling Yanni, together creating a blueprint for life lived with principle, curiosity, and focus on making the community better for future generations. And whereas Mike's commitment to his home state was unparalleled, as evidenced by his role in establishing the Yanni Heritage Park in Kearney, securing land for the Ashfall Fossil Beds State Historical Park in northeast Nebraska, and championing the growth of the University of Nebraska Medical Center. And whereas as the founder of America First Investment Company and later Burlington Capital, Mike's financial acumen and steadfast leadership bridged continents and connected Midwest industrial and agricultural development with all corners of global trade. And whereas Mike's greatest investment was always in people, having founded a youth mentorship program, Partnership for Kids, in Omaha, serving as an impassioned advocate for aspirational projects of others, and always seeking to uplift those in need without desire for personal credit. And whereas the City of Omaha gives pause to honor the extraordinary life and enduring legacy of Michael B. Yanni, a visionary leader, philanthropist, and devoted family man who passed away on February 14th, 2026, at the age of 92. Now, therefore, let it be known that we recognize Michael B. Yanni as a grand example of leadership and know that his legacy shall remain forever in the hearts of many individuals he mentored and inspired. in witness whereof we have set our hands and caused the official seal of the city to be affixed on this 24th day of February 2026. Again, Lisa couldn't be here today, but I will make sure that she and her family gets a copy of this. Thank you.
An affidavit of publication is on file, and a current copy of the Open Meeting Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of legislative chambers.
Good afternoon. Welcome to this meeting of the Omaha City Council. As a courtesy to those in attendance and to facilitate the conduct of our business, we ask that you silence or turn off all electronic devices. A reminder that you will have 3 minutes to speak on an agenda item. Please stay on topic. For those not providing in-person testimony and would like your comments entered into the public record, you can email the city clerk's office at cityclerk@cityofomaha.org. Council members receive these emails and we read them. Finally, council members may ask members of the audience back up for clarifying questions, but not for extra time to speak. I would also like to remind council members to speak clearly into their microphones so audience members in attendance and at home can hear. And also those that come up to the podium, make sure those microphones are both right in front of you so we can hear you clearly as well. Thank you.
Item 6, to consider a Class I liquor license for Hyderabad House, Biryani Place, located at 2537 South 174th Plaza.
This item was postponed from the February 10, 2026 meeting. The public hearing is now open. Are there proponents or is the applicant here today? On Zoom. Mr. Chikara, can you hear us? Mr. Chikara, Gata Chikara, can you hear us? Do you have us muted there? Because we can see that you're zoomed in, but should we come back to it? Okay, one more time, can you hear us? Okay. If you can hear me, just stay put because they're going to try to get you hooked up and we'll come back to you on the agenda.
I can hear you.
Oh, all right. Thanks.
Yeah,
Can you give us?
my phone, I was logged in on my PC, but the microphone doesn't work, so I'm trying to log in on my phone.
Okay, we hear you just fine. Can we get your name and your address for the record, please?
My name is Geeta Chokara.
And your address?
And it's for, one second, it's for Hyderabadi House. And let me get the address. (2537) South 174th Plaza.
Thank you. We might circle back if we have any questions.
Sure.
Are there any proponents here today on item number 6? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 7, to consider a Class C liquor license for Bucky Dexter's located at 4213 South 84th Street.
Public hearing is now open on item number 7. Is the applicant here today? Applicant for Bucky Dexter's here today. Seven.
Is there time?
Okay.
Move the layover for 1 week.
Got a motion and a second to lay over for 1 week. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 8, to consider a Class I liquor license for Cozy Lounge located at 5813 North 60th Street.
Public hearing is now open on item number 8. Is the applicant in attendance today?
Hi,
Name and address, please. Good afternoon.
Thomas Lemon, and the address is 5813 North 60th Street.
Thanks for being here. If we got any questions, we might pop you back up. Thanks. Are there any proponents here on item number 8? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Councilmember Festerson, you're recognized.
Mr. President. This is actually located in Councilmember Goodwin's district, but it's really close to mine, too. Are you a new owner, then? Is it?
Well, I own the Get Down Ultra Lounge as well.
Yeah, okay. And so you're expanding the business here, too?
Oh, actually, the Get Down Ultra Lounge, I have a business partner, and the Cozy, I'm doing this alone. This would be a single solo dolo mission for me.
So first time managing this particular location, though?
Indeed.
Okay. And how goes the Get Down Ultra Lounge in Florence?
Everything's going as well as you know as it can go. I think we've been fairly successful. Been there for 9 years.
Okay. I know we've had a lot of conversations about that over the years, and that's
Yes.
my sense of it too. There had been some recent items or incidents of concern at this location, but it probably goes back a couple years ago now. Are you aware of that, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nothing since, though, right?
No, I mean, my mission is to kind of clean the place up a little bit in terms of make it a little safer.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Thanks. It's nice to see you again, and I'll motion to approve.
Absolutely.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 9, to consider a Class D liquor license for iMart located at 9010 Fort Street.
Public hearing is now open on item number 9. I believe we have the applicant by Zoom.
Hello, I'm Vikas Gurung from iMart Omaha, Nebraska. So my location is 9010 Fort Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68134.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here on item number 9? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 10, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for Cattail Creek Commercial Replat 2, located northeast of 192nd and Q Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing is now open on item number 10. The applicant, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, members of council. Douglas Streeson, 10836 Old Mill Road, appearing on behalf of the applicant, here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here on item number 10? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 11, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for a line 192 located southwest of 192nd and Q Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing is now open on item number 11. Applicant, good afternoon.
Joe Foley, 3930 South 147th Street here in Omaha. Good afternoon. Here to really answer any questions. That's a one-lot subdivision. We want to zone it to R6 for about 90 apartment units. It's kind of grade challenged, so the owners worked hard to make it pretty appealing to the neighbors, and we've met several times with the neighborhood and everything, and I think everybody generally supports the project. So be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here on item number 11? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Items 12 and 13 can be considered together for Southside Terrace 3, located southeast of 30th and T Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Item 12, a resolution to approve the final plat. Item 13, a resolution to approve the subdivision agreement.
The public hearing is now open for items 12 and 13. Applicant, good afternoon.
Hi, Terry Morrison with Earhart Griffin and Associates, 3552 Farnham Street. I'm here on behalf of the ownership group.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here today, items 12 and 13? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 14, a resolution to approve a major amendment to the presumed special use permit to allow outdoor sports and recreation in an AG district located at 2410 South 217th Street. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. B is communication and support. C is communications and opposition.
Public hearing is now open on item number 14. Mr. Dreesen.
Good afternoon again. Douglas Dreesen, 10836 Old Mill Road, appearing on behalf of the applicant. The applicant's here in the audience as well as the attorney. We have submitted the required landscape plan and construction plan of the parking lot. We're good with all of the other recommendations, and with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here?
Diana Vogt, 260 Regency Parkway Drive, Omaha, Nebraska, 68114. I'm actually here more as a neutral commentator. I represent the Skyline Woods Homeowners Association, and we are fully in favor of reinstating the golf course and the related amenities and the new clubhouse. We just want to put on the record that by this support, we are not waiving the right to enforce the covenants that run with the land should that become an issue.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents here today? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 15, a resolution to amend resolution number 2025-1077, approving the Conestoga Collection Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Project Plan to designate the redevelopment project site as 2415 Florence Boulevard.
I'll open the public hearing on item number 15. Mr. Seaton, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Don Seaton, Omaha City Planning Department. The council approved this TIF project a couple weeks ago, but the location was not properly identified. Approval of the item on today's agenda will correct that error. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here today? Item number 15. Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Were you an opponent?
Yes.
I'll allow it. I didn't see you back there.
Yeah. This is in the way. You need to look up a little sooner. Larry Store, 515 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha 68132. I am opposed to this because I don't think, number one, we need a new children's museum and everything else that's down there.
We're on item 15.
And city 16.
We're on
16.
We're on item number 15 right now. 15.
Larry. I'm sorry.
Public hearing is closed. Sorry. We had a motion and a second. Thank you. We had a motion and a second. No further lights. Roll call.
Harding. Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 16, a resolution to approve the 8th and Douglas redevelopment plan, an amendment to the downtown northeast redevelopment plan located northeast of 8th and Douglas Streets.
Public hearing is now open on item number 16. Ms. Taylor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, members of City Council. Jennifer Taylor, City Law Department. As discussed in pre-council this morning, the redevelopment plan is being brought here to you today for approval, and it includes both the proposed beam redevelopment project and the contemplated relocation of the Omaha Children's Museum.
Excuse me, Jen. Can you please silence your cell phone? Thank you. I don't know, I can't see.
It's on the floor up there. Might be Larry's.
Ms. Taylor, please continue. Thank you.
No problem. I was at the state legislature in a hearing last week where somebody's abandoned iPad set off an alarm and kept going for like 2 minutes, and I kept talking, so.
We know you can talk, Jen. So.
Anyway, so the redevelopment plan obviously contemplates both the beam redevelopment project and the proposed relocation of the Omaha Children's Museum. I know that there has been some discussion in the public about the viability or the ongoing viability of the Children's Museum project. I believe that the funders are still kind of looking at whether or not they can raise funds and whether they can proceed with that. In the meantime, I know that the New Style project is generally on hold, but both projects, if they become viable, will move forward in accordance with this plan. We are presenting the plan today for approval so that those things can happen if that funding becomes available. And also it allows us to reimburse New Style Development for a significant amount of site work that they have accomplished on the site. So they have undertaken significant grading of the site, a large-scale sewer relocation, design and engineering for the city's proposed standalone garage, which will likely proceed regardless, as well as some road work. So there's been several $1 million expended by New Style in preparation of the site, which will make the site obviously now what I would call shovel-ready or ready for development. In the event that neither project moves forward as currently contemplated, the city does have a far more valuable site with which it can either sell to a new developer or RFP for another project. But in the meantime, we would like to go ahead and reimburse New Style for the money that they have spent to improve our land at their expense. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any proponents here today on item 16? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Opponents on item number 16? I can't see him. Is he out there? Public hearing is closed.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 17, an ordinance to create road maintenance district number 2025-01 for the purpose of improving South 91st Circle from Pacific Street north to the terminus.
Public hearing is now open on item 17. Is the applicant here today? Are there any proponents here today on item 17? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Consent agenda. Any member of the City Council may cause any item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be taken up by the City Council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed, unless otherwise provided by the City Council Rules of Order.
The public hearing on agenda item 18 was held on February 10th, 2026. Any discussion? Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0.
The public hearing on agenda items 19 through 38 are today. If you wish to address the City Council regarding these items, please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda number you wish to address, identify yourself by your name, address, who you represent, and if you are a proponent or opponent. The public hearing is now open. Are there any proponents on items 19 through 38? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Opponents?
Antoine Jackson, 2211 Pratt. Business address is 2118 North 24th Street, Jackson's Fairdeal Cafe. Is there something else I needed to answer?
What
It'd
agenda
be
item are
number
you addressing?
38.
38?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just don't think that Michael Robinson should be a member of the BID, especially for 5 years. I've had the opportunity of working with him, in which right now we're in court. He illegally added my name to the water. He illegally tried to get me evicted from those water bills. And he has been harassing me throughout the whole 3 years that I've been at Jackson Fair Deals. He is a board member of OEDC, he's a director. And I don't see why we would add him to this with all the stuff that he's done to me. Why would we give him a chance to be on this BID board? So I don't want that to happen.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Are there any other opponents on items 19 through 38? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. I'll second. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Item 39, an ordinance to acquire private property located at 1111 M Plaza for the Missouri River and Papillion Creek WRRF Secondary Treatment Design Project.
I will now open the public hearing on item 39. Are there any proponents here today? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 40, an ordinance authorizing and approving an amendment to the master lease purchase agreement to provide funds for a modern streetcar system in an amount not to exceed $70 million, lease revenue bonds, Series 2026D.
Public hearing is now open on item number 40. Are there any proponents here today?
Good afternoon, President Bailey, members of the City Council, Jennifer Taylor, City Law Department. Just as a brief overview of the bond issuance that's before you today. Sorry, let me grab my 17 pages of notes. Okay, this is not an increase in the existing authorization necessarily, what has been previously authorized by this council. So just as a quick review, council in December of 2022 authorized $360 million of revenue bonds and $80 million of lease revenue bonds in order to support the streetcar project. Since then, none of the revenue bonds have been authorized or issued. We have issued the $80 million in lease revenue bonds. In addition to the $50 million that was issued and authorized pursuant to the Mutual of Omaha specific private placement bond. So effectively, we have, the City Council has authorized issuance of $130 million of lease revenue bonds in order to fund expenses related to the streetcar. As of the end of 2025, the Omaha Streetcar Authority has expended approximately $130 million in funds in furtherance of the project. So we are at a point now where we need to enter into another tranche of funding for the streetcar project. This $70 million will be about half of what is budgeted for this year. So we would need a second tranche later in the year. But again, we're splitting these up in order to save on carrying costs and kind of minimize market risk. It does not increase the amount that the council has set forth, which is effectively $440 million to fund the project. Right now, the project budget is at $421 million. Mr. Jensen can correct me, but I would say the majority of the project, almost all the project, has been either bid or is subject to a maximum price contract. So that $421 million pending change orders is really a pretty solid price. So we're still under the $440 that this council has generally authorized to pay for this project. This is simply just an authorization of $70 million for now, and it will be an additional lease revenue bond issuance and not a revenue bond issuance. As I have briefed the council and we discussed this morning, the reason for changing the financial instrument is effectively that we can get about a 4.5% interest rate on a lease revenue bond, and we are at about a 6.5% to 7% interest rate on a straight revenue bond. So that 2.5% difference effectively constitutes about $7 to $8 million a year in additional costs. So if we were to go a different financing route, it would significantly impact the financial viability of the project. Whereas it is currently set up under a lease revenue bond, we can pay for the entire debt service with the excess ad valorem tax revenues that we are expected to generate in the district. Mr. Jensen can answer some questions about that. But under this current financing system, we will have enough revenue to pay the debt service. If we were to change the financing instrument into something else, it would add, as I noted, several millions of dollars a year to the cost, plus actually a fairly heavy $25 to $35 million debt service reserve. Again, those are costs we don't need to incur and frankly would severely hamper the viability of the project. I won't go into anything else there. You've been given briefing memos and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents here today? Seeing none, are there any opponents?
Good afternoon, Omaha City Council. Donnie R. Johnson, the Johnson Equestrian Foundation, North Omaha Concerned Citizen Foundation, 4928 North 52nd Street. I think what the city is doing and Mr. Johnson is doing is wonderful, but with the council taking consideration all this new money coming in, and the streetcar, I believe, is going to be a wonderful project. We have 2 sales tax on auto purchase. Can they remove one of the sales tax and increase the wheel tax on some of these developers?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other opponents here today on item number 40?
Larry Storr, 5015 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha 68132. I am opposed to this ordinance, and I concur 100% with one gentleman that already sent this email to you. I sent a copy of that to join him, and I'd like to read that for the record because it's not clear whether what I say today gets on the record unless I send it to you in an email later, which doesn't make much sense, so I'm going to read it. I urge a no vote to the ordinance approving an amendment to spend even more money on the streetcar, everybody in Omaha except those profiting from the project, like Real Estate Moguls, Streetcar Authority, and gifter Jay Noddle, who donated $3,500 to Mr. Harding for Congress, hates. It's pretty insulting that the Omaha City Council ignored the will of the people and approved the hugely expensive streetcar project with goofy, unproven funding source, except for my taxes. We ousted Jean Stothert by a large margin when she shoved it down our throats. But for some reason, probably apathy, the council members retained their seats, which is too bad. Now the streets are a mess. Businesses are losing tons of money. They're having meetings at night about it, while the Omaha Public Works Department drags out and detours for months, if not years. I urge a no vote on the ordinance. Everybody except for Keywood and HDR would be a lot better off if the city pulled the plug on the streetcar right now, to get back to driving the streets of Omaha. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents here on item number 40?
Luis Jimenez, 2709 Dewey Avenue. I am opposed to this, not because of the money situation, but what the money is going to afford. I got the opportunity to hear our mayor, John Ewing, and he said that since he took office, he brought the streetcar project on time. It's going to be on time. Now, the question is it going to be on budget, under budget, over budget? I don't know. And this seems to me to be a speculative financial scheme that doesn't address the infrastructure that is going to be in place. And $421 million on top of what MUD is spending to make sure that the streetcar can go along seems like a lot of money for the infrastructure. And all I asked of the previous mayor was, can you put some restrooms, public restrooms, along the line? There's no talk about refinancing this money so that infrastructure can be approved. All they're talking about is just refinancing the money. So I oppose this because we're asking a lot from Omahans to participate on the streetcar without restrooms. I think that would be just concomitant to the infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents here today on item number 40? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Councilmember Harding, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Steve Jensen, if you could come. First, two things before I have some questions for you, Steve. One, it was just stated from a couple of testifiers a minute ago when reading from a letter that was sent. It does, contrary to what the letter said, it does not add dollars to the project, which Ms. Taylor actually said in her testimony as well, too. So wanted to clear that one up first. And then secondly, I think it was stated from when Ms. Taylor was talking that that to change the financial tool from the lease revenue bond to the revenue bond, when I think originally as anticipated or as envisioned, this was going to be the opposite of that. It was going to be a revenue bond and not a lease revenue bond. So that leads me into some of my questions for you, Mr. Jensen. Could you explain why the change and what that means to the city and the taxpayers as well, too?
Sure. Steve Jensen, Deputy Chief of Staff for Economic Development in Mayor Ewing's office. So with regard to the change, I think as Jennifer explained, the switch from revenue bond to lease purchase bond is at a lower interest rate, so saves, I think, over the course of time, I think it was $200 million in interest payments.
Over 30 years, I believe.
Over the length of the bonds, and so that amount of money then is then available to help pay for the streetcar and ultimately also for affordable housing. So I think the intent is to save that money, that interest, and use it really to pay for the construction of the streetcar and for affordable housing as well.
And using, because they're two different financial tools, talk about if you will, talk about the reason one might have preferred a revenue bond over the lease revenue bond, but for the savings. And
Sure.
And then we can talk about the projections after that.
Sure. And I'll let Jennifer correct me if I misstate something, but the revenue bond really is just relying solely on the revenue that would come from the tax increment financing mechanism that we're using to pay for the streetcar and to pay for the bonds. Mm-hmm. In terms of the lease purchase bonds, those lease purchase bonds also bring the backing of the city for those lease purchase bonds. And so there would be, if there was not enough revenue, there would be, city funds would be used. However, by preserving or saving that $200 million, it just makes it even more likely and ensures that we'll be able to pay for all of the bonds using the revenue from tax increment financing from new development.
Okay, and again, because there's about a 200 basis point difference between the two financial instruments.
That's my understanding.
The lower being the lease revenue bonds or lease purchase, and therefore being able to save $200 million over the life of the bond, or 30 years, I believe.
Correct.
So because I just want to make sure this card's on table for everyone to understand that it was originally anticipated that we were just going to use the revenue bonds and therefore rely solely upon the proceeds from the tax increment financing.
True, although you'd already approved lease purchase bonds.
For a portion.
For a portion of it.
Yeah,
And so,
but it was anticipated, I'm sorry to
Yeah.
jump in, it was anticipated that that was for that tranche and not for future tranches. But because of the difference from maybe then and even when the project was originally envisioned, the difference between the basis points differential between the two financial instruments was a lot smaller and therefore wasn't as much of maybe a concern financially over the course of the term of the bonds.
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's exactly right. And I think Steve Curtis could probably give you the specifics. But yeah, at the time, there was not a big difference between lease purchase interest rates and the revenue bond interest rates.
Okay, so then if you could, you handed out something a little earlier today to the council. Talk about the projections originally anticipated maybe by MuniCap and what we are seeing so far that's in the process of or is slated to be, I guess, broken ground or anticipated to be under construction soon.
Sure.
And what that means financially to the model.
Sure. So originally, when we looked at the project and looked at the potential for development in the corridor, we had market studies that were done for residential, for office, for retail, and so forth. And those studies all told us that we could expect probably at least $3.2 billion worth of development over a 15-year period in the corridor. But we wanted to be conservative. We wanted to back that up and take another look at it. So we hired MuniCap Corporation to come in and take a look at it. We knew that they were even more conservative. And so they spent about 9 months, looked at every property in the corridor, looked at all of the information we gave them. And they came back and said they felt that they could guarantee, more or less, that there would be at least $2 billion worth of development in the corridor over a 15-year period, which was enough for the projected cost of the streetcar at that time. Since that time, we have approved, and the information I gave to you earlier today, we've approved just shy of $1.3 billion worth of new projects in the corridor that have been approved by the council. So we're actually running well ahead of even our earlier $3.2 billion projection. We're now projecting that we would see a minimum of $3.9 billion worth of development in the corridor over a 15-year period. And so we're even running ahead of that schedule right now. We have another roughly $400 million worth of potential development that we are aware of, that developers are working on. We would like to see that come in this year if we could, but we know within the next year or so we'll see that $400 million, and we know that there are projects being considered that we just aren't aware of. So we're in very good shape right now. In conversations with the finance department, that $3.9 billion, if it was financed as we're talking about, would produce probably be able to support probably $550 million worth of bonds. You've approved up to $490 right now, $40 million of which is going to affordable housing. And so we have more than enough projected development and revenue from that development to cover the $440 million that we have as a cap for expenditures for the streetcar.
When you said that 490, I wanted to make sure that included the 50 of the private placement.
Yes.
440 plus the 50 of the private placement.
It includes
right?
all of the bonds that you've approved for the streetcar, for mobility improvements, and for affordable housing.
So I just want to summarize a little bit to say that because of the, I'll say, tremendous savings that we could from interest payments of $200 million over the course of 30 years, the decision was made to use the different financial tool, although the reliance, the backfall, if you will, the support of that behind that bond will be the city of Omaha eventually. Have there been any discussions with our bond counsel to see what that might do to our bond rating?
I'll let Jennifer address that.
Mr. Curtis and I have met with rating agencies over the last year regarding our bond rating, and they're aware of how we're financing this project, and they're aware of our use of lease purchase or lease revenue bonds. And we have demonstrated that we have a revenue source that is dedicated to that doesn't come from the city's general fund. And they are comfortable with that explanation. We will continue to share information with them to ensure that the use of this financing structure does not impact our bond rating. I would also like to point out, along the lines of the conversation you're having with Mr. Jensen, that were we to actually utilize a revenue bond as opposed to this lease purchase or lease revenue bond, that revenue bond and those bond holders would actually take a pledge of all of our excess ad valorem tax revenues generated by the project, and they would be first in line, so to speak. So that those bond holders and that extra interest cost would actually take first bite of those revenues that come in, and our obligations on the existing lease purchase bonds that we have would be secondary to that, and the obligation that we have to Logier on the affordable housing bond would be subordinate even to that. So if we were to pledge those revenues to a revenue bond holder, that extra $7 or $8 million a year would be sent to them and would not be available for us to pay our existing debt on the existing lease purchase and the Logier bond that we have outstanding. So actually, the taxpayers would be more at risk under that scenario than they would under this one.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just one last closing, not for either of you, but I just wanted to state for the record, and not because of something that was said from one of the earlier testimony from those who testified earlier, but I know there was something that Councilmember Melton pointed out to me that was kind of floating around social media that said I had an equity stake in some of the properties or projects that are going on in this district. And I'll state for the record that I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Melton, you're recognized.
Ms. Taylor, I'll just call Ms. Taylor back up since I'll let you off the hook for a minute, Steve. You said a lot, and so I just want to pull out just a couple bullet points because again, that's what I'm reading on social media. 61 comments that our tax dollars and property taxes are being used for this. So I know the answer, but I'm asking you a direct question. Are any property taxes going to be used for debt service?
The only revenues that are dedicated to the debt service of this instrument are the excess ad valorem taxes generated only within the district, basically tax increment financing revenues. Those revenues, those property taxes paid by new development.
And so
not your everyday average taxpayer.
Is anybody's property taxes in District 7 going to be used for paying for the streetcar?
No.
Okay. And I think that would go for almost everyone except the council person that has the streetcar in their district. But the residents that aren't along the streetcar route or developing, even their tax dollars are not going to be used for the debt service to the streetcar. Nothing's changed.
Correct.
Second, I just want to be clear. We kind of went through everything so quick. We have in there that the streetcar is going to cost approximately $440 million. That has not changed. $421 million.
$421 million, yes.
$421 million. That has not changed. We have only issued bonds for approximately $130 million.
Correct. We are trying to minimize those carrying and interest costs.
And so what we're doing is each year we're appropriating and issuing bonds to pay for that year. We didn't just issue $421 million 3 years ago. So you're being fiscally responsible by waiting. So we paid for 130. We anticipate another 70 million this year. So you're issuing the bonds this year. Then next year, we're going to have another, we'll just say 70 million, but it's for costs that are being incurred in this year.
Correct.
Okay. And at this point, I would assume if there are costs for this year, we've already signed the contracts and owe the money.
Correct.
Okay. So for anyone who says just vote no, well, then the council would be voting no, and the contractors and vendors, whatnot, are still going to need to be paid. Then we probably would have to use taxpayer dollars to pay them because we'd be in violation of a contract.
Correct. And I would just remind you, we've also already issued $130 million of bonds that still have to be repaid. If we were to stop the project, we would not have the revenues to repay what we've already issued.
And the taxpayers would then be on the hook, and they're not right now.
Correct.
Okay. And then lastly, I know a lot of the work that's being done that is very painful, but it's the reason it's taking so long. It's we're replacing and paying for, and when I say we, the streetcar tax increment financing money that is not taxpayer money is paying for all the new utility work underneath the whole route that otherwise would be paid by MUD ratepayers.
Correct. With the exception of the $7.6 million that MUD is contributing, for example, for MUD, the remaining $35 million of work that is being done to replace utilities in the core is being paid for by the streetcar project.
And so that's actually saving the ratepayers who are also taxpayers in the city of Omaha, it's just under MUD. So it's saving those ratepayers because the utilities are close to 100 years old. So the work that's being done would have to be done sometime over the next 10 years along every piece of the streetcar route because all those utilities are close to or over 100 years old.
A significant portion of the utilities that are being replaced with brand new facilities were in or are in the proposed infrastructure replacement plan for the district.
And in addition, we had 2 bridges. One's already been replaced. We're in the middle of replacing the other. Those bridges have been paid for with the streetcar developers tax increment financing. Is that correct?
Correct. There has been some contribution from the state to those bridges, but those bridges were also scheduled to be replaced in the next 15 years, 10 or 15 years. So again, there is a significant state taxpayer cost that is being saved through this project.
So I just wanted to, even if you're against the streetcar or don't like the streetcar, at least I like to call attention to the benefits that the developers are paying for that we otherwise would have had to pay for anyway.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Hug, you're recognized.
I don't have the years of experience my peers have because this was all kind of cast before I got on the council. So I got to ask some questions just to kind of help work through it in my mind. So we were going to do revenue bonds.
Correct.
Okay. Because of the rate, we're now going to do lease purchase bonds.
Correct. And to add a little piece of information to that, in 2022, when we authorized the $360 million of revenue bonds, at that point in time, the interest rate that we were getting on, or we would have gotten on a revenue bond of that type was approximately 4.5%. At the time, the interest rate on a lease revenue bond in 2022 was about 3.5%, 4%. So the difference, 4%, it really wasn't that much. And we were getting, at that time on a revenue bond, the same rate we are now getting on a lease revenue bond. Only the difference between the 2 instruments is significantly greater. So it made sense from a financial perspective in 2022 when we put the plan together. Unfortunately, economies change and things have changed. And we're faced with the interest rates we are looking at today. This is a much more fiscally responsible solution.
Okay. And if I heard you correctly, answering Councilmember Melton's question about will the taxpayers' money be used, and you said no.
No.
Okay. Is that a perfect world scenario?
That is a current world scenario, and pending massive upheaval of things that I can't predict. I mean, things can always change, but as Mr. Jensen has indicated, we are currently ahead of the pace for what we need to generate in order to pay the entire debt service on this model. And we are confident that we will continue to, with what we know is coming, more than achieve what we need to achieve in order to pay the debt service and not have any general fund revenues be dedicated to it.
Okay. So if some unforeseen catastrophe were to happen, reoccurrence of 2020, devastating economic downturn to where those individuals who are currently paying those TIF payments couldn't make those TIF payments, or there was a reduction in what those TIF payments were being made. It's a possibility. I mean, I wasn't here in 1930, but I heard stories. So, an extreme situation, but if we were to see a reoccurrence of a devastating economic downturn and there wasn't revenue being generated or there was a decline in that TIF revenue coming in, then what would happen?
then we would have to investigate how we would proceed to finish the project with the funds that we have available to us. I mean, I can't predict what might or might happen or what we would be faced with. I was kind of used the example
So
of,
your comment-
I can't say World War III wouldn't happen and that would impact lots of things in our economy. But we are comfortable in saying that we have made conservative financial analysis of this model, and the conservative financial analysis made indicates to us that we are more than comfortably able to pay this debt with the revenues that we've identified, pending World War III.
Okay, well, I'm not using World War III. I think that's not realistic, but unforeseen economic downturns can happen for God knows why. And, you know, another 2020 could pop up right around the corner. But the problem I have is trying to understand, other than the rate difference, and I understand there's a rate difference, but the mechanical mechanism of how a revenue bond functions compared to a lease purchase bond. So in a revenue, if the money was not there, we would still be responsible, the city would still be responsible for that shortfall.
In a revenue bond, if the money was not there, the city would, in a true revenue bond, the city would not be responsible for any shortfalls.
Okay. And
that's why the rate is higher. That's why there's a debt service reserve that's required, and all the things that go along with making that financial instrument far more expensive.
And that's different from a lease purchase bond.
Correct.
Okay, so in a lease purchase bond, if the money's not there, there's a shortfall, then the city is on the hook.
The city would be required to find some sort of other mechanism to pay that shortfall, yes. However, as we've indicated, just like a revenue bond, the only difference is that we're not the revenue bond holder. But as we've indicated, the source of revenue that we've identified is more than sufficient to pay that debt service.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Melton, you're recognized.
Follow up on that, which I think you should add. Also, in the event the city were ever to have to make a debt service payment, the city also could get paid back.
Correct.
So I just wanted to follow up with that if some catastrophic 2020 happened and there was maybe a year of economic downturn and the city had to make the payments, as all economies do, they could go up and down, but some catastrophic event happened, the city could also be paid back when the economy came back up.
That's correct. That's a very good point.
I just wanted to make sure that was followed up.
And along with that point, I would also remind the council that we are, excess ad valorem taxes are property tax revenues that are paid by those developers. So, of all the payments a developer has to make, their property taxes are
Number
first
one.
and foremost. So, the likelihood of them not paying their property taxes is the last thing they're going to stop paying, basically, at the end of the day. So, those revenues will be generated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hug, you're
I
recognized.
got a rebuttal to the rebuttal. Acknowledging that, yes, typically property taxes are the first thing any responsible developer or business owner is going to pay. But however, if they were not to pay them, the tax foreclosure process is lengthy. I mean, it can be almost 3 years before they ever go to tax foreclosure. And even then, there's a length of redemption period. So in theory, somebody could not pay their taxes for almost 3 years and pay them half an hour before the tax foreclosure sale, and they would be redeemed.
Correct. And as Councilmember Melton just said, in that 3-year period where they have to redeem, that tax certificate is sold to a tax certificate buyer. That tax certificate buyer pays those taxes, and so then therefore that revenue is generated.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No further lights.
Item 41, an ordinance authorizing and approving a lease purchase agreement to provide funds for a parking garage at the Crossroads redevelopment site in an amount not to exceed $65 million, lease revenue refunding bonds, Series 2026.
Public hearing is now open on item number 41. Are there any proponents?
Good afternoon. President Begley, members of the City Council, Jennifer Taylor, City Law Department. I won't belabor this. We did discuss it briefly in pre-council. This particular bond issuance is to affect some refunding bonds as well as to pay for obligated costs the city has to construct parking garages at crossroads and will be amended prior to the hearing next week to add an additional $25 million that will satisfy the city's obligation to purchase the remaining 2 parking garages at Midtown Crossing, so ramps B and ramp C. We purchased ramp A last year for $26 million. The remaining 2 ramps will cost us approximately $25 million. Instead of doing a separate bond issuance for that, in a month or 2, we just decided to add it to this one. So we didn't have to bring another one back to you, basically, and to get it done now. We are obligated to close on those 2 additional ramps March 31st. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents here on, excuse me, item 41? Seeing none, are there any opponents? Thank you.
Larry Storr, 5015 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha 68132. I'm opposed to the way this thing is written, but I'm opposed because I think we already settled this years ago, but here it is coming up again. If it's not your property, why are you wanting to build a new garage? Are you going to buy the property back from the real estate guy, the guy that's also the developer, and he also got the TIF? There's already a garage out there. Why don't we use it? Great big garage. How long is that lot set out there with nothing being done? Why? Now you're going to lease something back and pay again? I've got a better idea. Why don't you use the garage that's on the corner of 72nd and Cass Street? It's a large garage. You can run the buses through there and pick up the homeless people. You can let the homeless people stay in there. You can let the county use their social services offices to meet with families and young offenders and all these programs that you have in Omaha right there in that large garage that you're not using for anything. Now you want to build a new one, but don't you have to buy the lot back or buy the property back somehow? I thought this was all settled with a combination real estate guy, developer, construction guy. They're all 3. A lot of them are all 3. I thought this was settled. Why is it not settled? This is not our property now. But if it is, use the garage you got. Stop spending my tax dollars.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents?
Good afternoon, Omaha City Council. Donnie R. Johnson, the Johnson Equestrian Foundation, North Omaha Concerned Citizen Foundation, and 4928 North 52nd Street. I'd like to rebuttal what Mr. Larry just said because I understand what the city doing. I looked at the garage many years ago on Cass. It's collapsing, and the people who, when the new train system gets started, people may come from West Omaha and park their electrical cars in this new garage, which makes sense. Sometimes we ask ourselves, all these old buildings are going to handle all the new system. And they're right, moving that out and putting another system in there because they park the electrical car in there, jump on the bus or whatever in that train. My theory is that since they're going to be making so much money, can you lower the sales tax on automobile for senior citizens and increase the wheel tax and give us a refund on the tobacco people? They're getting too much for tax money.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents here on item 41?
Luis Manis, 2709 Dewey Avenue. There's 2 points I'd like to make. This is, I think, analogous to the way that development is done in Omaha. It's an overpromise and then a under delivery. And so I with this garage, these parking garage purchases, is it because you're rescuing Midtown? And then if you're doing that, then how come the public building commission, how come they can't come in here too and work with you to get these parking garages. Mr. Cohen said they're not going to be purchasing any more parking garages. Why is that? Is it like against state law? Is it policy? Are you guys not willing to work with them about it? So I think that this is not explained here. And if it's not any of that, is it because this is going to be an asset along the streetcar route? And if it is, it's not well explained on the agenda. And if it's an asset for the streetcar, I had another thought on this, but those are my 2 points.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other opponents here today? Item 41. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Councilmember Melton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. If you could just come back up. Of course. I'm going to repeat myself, of course. For
Jennifer Taylor, City Law Department.
Thank you. First of all, for parking garages, again, they're revenue bonds, lease purchase revenue bonds. And currently, all the money then is generated from the leasing of the spots in the garage or the people who pay to park there.
Correct. And the debt service on those bonds that are associated with parking facilities are paid for through the enterprise fund, for the parking enterprise fund.
You knew what question I was going to ask. The debt service is made through the enterprise fund. Therefore, Mr. Store's tax dollars are not being used to pay for this. It's the leases on the garages. That money is a separate fund. It does not go into the general fund. And currently, we've been positive. We've never been negative, I think, in Park Omaha in that enterprise fund.
At least for the last several years, yes.
Yeah. So, and I noticed here, I just wanted to be sure, we're refinancing bonds because we had previously issued, it looks like $53 million for the Omaha baseball stadium funds. We have $40 million outstanding from 2016. So basically, are we getting a better rate? Or
I'll let Mr. Curtis answer
Sorry.
the refunding question.
Steve Curtis, City Financing. Generally, what you're doing is taking if you think of the term of a 30-year bond, and you have a number of them out there at 4 or 5%, as it gets closer in, you can knock those down to a 1% or 2%. In this case, it saved us about $3 million on a one-time basis.
And that's what the majority is. We were talking about Crossroads, but really the amount we're issuing in bonds for Crossroads is very small because this is just to acquire the property. This isn't.
We've already acquired the property. This is kind of, again, much like the streetcar and we do with other projects, we are tranching this. So there will be another issuance of lease purchase bonds later on in the year.
Okay.
But like I said, we're doing the Midtown Crossing as part of this one as well, so that we're essentially putting everything together in one, so we don't do another one for about 6 months.
Right. I was just noting when we're talking about $40 million is getting a better interest. We're getting a better interest rate on $40 million of bonds that we already have.
Correct.
They were done in 2016. And then for at least police and fire projects, we have a remaining around $4 million left. And so basically we're getting a better percentage interest rate on those bonds. So
Correct.
The majority of these bonds actually is for 2016 bonds that we're just getting a better interest rate on.
Those are refunding bonds, correct. And then there is the amount of money that will be dedicated towards the building of the parking garages at Crossroads, which we have already obligated to do. And then it will be increased by $25 million to account for the money that we need to purchase those 2 remaining ramps at Midtown Crossing, pursuant to the purchase agreement that we approved a year and a half ago in July of 24.
Right. We've already entered into that contract.
Correct. We
and
are
so
obligated.
now we're getting, and actually I think it looks like some of the interest rates have gone down, so now is probably a good time.
I would much rather be doing this now than a year ago.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nothing further.
Thank you.
Non-action items 42 through 67, did not require public hearing or city council consideration at this meeting, but will be placed on a future agenda for public hearing and/or vote. The reason for non-action is noted after the item on the agenda, as well as the date the item is expected to appear on an agenda for consideration.
Second. Got a roll call.
Harding.
Yes.
Hug. Melton. Rowe. Festerson. Mr. President.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Meeting is adjourned at 3:14.